The grim hollow graveyard hummed with a life all its own. Mist, pale as ghosts, clung to the crooked headstones. It swirled around the base of a towering oak, its branches clawing at the moon-bleached sky. An unsettling stillness filled the air, broken only by the rustle of unseen things and the distant, lonely hoot of an owl. The scent of damp earth and decaying leaves mingled with something faintly sweet, something alluring.
Boo, you startled me.
A voice, soft as the whisper of the wind, tickled Spooksie's ear. A shiver, delightful and unexpected, danced down her spine. Pumpkin Grim materialized beside her, a mischievous grin on her face. Spooksie's breathed, her voice catching in her throat. Pumpkin's touch was like ice against Spooksie's arm, yet a strange warmth bloomed in Spooksie's nipples, spreading outwards like wildfire.
Always a pleasure, Spooksie.
Echo Grim, Pumpkin's husband, emerged from the shadows of the ancient oak. His presence was calming, a stark contrast to Pumpkin's playful chaos. His eyes, pools of molten gold, met Spooksie's, and she felt a strange pull, a sense of belonging she hadn't known she craved. The night deepened, weaving its magic around them. Pumpkin, a whirlwind of energy, danced around Spooksie, her laughter echoing through the silent graveyard. Echo watched them both, a knowing smile playing on his lips. Their hands brushed, sending sparks of longing through. She was suddenly so wet she couldn't take it anymore. She could feel the heartbeat between her legs pulsing harder and harder. The air crackled with unspoken desires, a symphony of yearning and anticipation. They spoke in hushed tones, their words lost to the wind. Pumpkin reached down in between Spooksie's legs and pulled her hands up, making Spooksie taste herself off of Pumpkin's fingertips. The taste was so sweet, and then she put those fingers in Echo's mouth as they both got on their knees in front of Echo and fulfilled all of his wildest desires with the swirls of their tongues, spit dripping from their mouths, working endlessly to drain him off every drop of his seed.
But it was their eyes looking up at him with their makeup dripping that spoke volumes, their gazes lingering, filled with an unspoken understanding.
Pumpkin traced patterns on Spooksie's back, her touch sending shivers down Spooksie's spine.
Echo's gaze never left Spooksie and Pumpkin, his eyes reflecting the moon's soft glow, his desire a palpable thing. They kept throating him and gagging on him as long as they could take it, with their eyes watering and spit dripping from theirs mouths as they shared kisses in between their hard, sloppy work.
The grim hollow graveyard, once a place of fear and sorrow, transformed into a haven of desire. The scent of damp earth and decay faded, replaced by the intoxicating aroma of night-blooming jasmine and wet ghost panties. The mist swirled around them, a ghostly embrace, shielding them from the world outside. As the moon climbed higher, bathing the graveyard in its ethereal light, their desires intertwined with Echo holding himself in his hands. He bent them over as they kissed each other, stroking them from the back, slapping their arses, leaving marks that would disappear from the sultry ghost's skin, big, plump, juicy arses bouncing up and down on Echo one at a time as they tasted each other over and over, moaning and groaning with their eyes rolling in the back of their heads, unleashing all of their primal energy. The night was more eventful than had ever been before, a tapestry woven from longing and acceptance. Pumpkin's laughter faded, replaced by a soft sigh, as she leaned into Spooksie, her touch no longer ice, but a comforting warmth. Echo's hand found Spooksie, his grip firm yet gentle, grounding her in the whirlwind of emotions. Their lips met, a meeting of souls, a connection that transcended the boundaries of life and death. Under the watchful gaze of the ancient oak and the silent sentinels of Grim Hollow, they found solace in each other's embrace. As the first rays of dawn pierced the darkness, the graveyard returned to its usual stillness. The mist dissipated, revealing the weathered headstones and the ancient oak, its branches reaching towards the lightening sky. The memory of the night lingered, a sweet ache in Spooksie's heart. The warmth of Pumpkin's touch, the intensity of Echo's gaze, the taste of their kiss. It all remained, etched in her memory. The grim, hollow graveyard, no longer a place of fear, held the promise of something more, something extraordinary. It whispered of shared desires and a love that defied boundaries. Spooksie knew, with a certainty that settled deep within her soul, that this wasn't goodbye. She couldn't get Pumpkin's jiggly breast and pump ass out of her mind, and the feeling of echo deep inside of her, pulsating with every stroke, she kept getting creamy at the thought of it. It was simply until next time. She laid at her grave and played with herself until she couldn't take it anymore, until the moon rose again over Grim Hollow, and she could return to the embrace of the ghosts who had stolen her heart and her panties.